Ani, this is the tutorial on how to use the VII verb paradigms. I'm going to share screen and let's jump into it. Okay, ignore my comment thing there. All right, so again, as with the other verbs, you need to know what you are talking about and who is doing it. The only thing is, VII verbs typically, well, they don't have a person. They are a description. They're something that is inanimate, and there's no transfer of action between objects or people or anything. It is statements. Things like it is raining, it is snowing, it is heavy, it is hard, it is cold, it is wet. What you might consider to be adjectives in English. And then, of course, there is also C form in VIIs. That's where you take the verb, such as it is red, keeping in mind that it's in the state of being read. So therefore, that's why it's a verb. It is in the action is that it is being a certain way. So you can C form it and make it the one that is read or the ones that are read, in which case you're talking about objects that have that description, and so they become more noun-like. Now, that is just an aside. That will be in the VII lesson that's posted in the Google Classroom. So again, it is statements, always in present tense. We come over here, it's A form positive, which means simple sentences that convey meaning all on their own. For example, our VII verb is agasa, which means it is small, or keep in mind, it is in the state of being small. That thing, the action it's doing is being small, which I love that about this language. It's such a cool a way that like everything has this action in it. Anyway, so we know agasa, it is small. Now, these are verbs that end with a vowel. So any VII verb that has a vowel ending is going to follow these paradigms. So if you're just talking about one thing that is in the state of being small, such as it is a small book, you're going to talk like Yoda. You're going to say, book, it is small. Masnayagan agasa. Or down here, a washime basic means more than one, or basic one, more than one, or rather plural. They are small, agasa one. And so here's your verb, and you simply attach the text that's in red. Now here is where it gets a little more confusing. Now, if you're making a comment about something to a person, like, oh, that's small, or it's small, you might say to your coworker who is next to you, like, oh, that's a small book. But if you're talking about something being small in relation to someone that is not you or me, so like someone that is not Neen or Geen, then you're going to use this one for Neen. So it's like, it's the idea of being like, oh, you're watching like one of your students across the room or something, and he's trying to like put a bead on a string or something, and that bead is real small, and you want to comment it is small, but it's not in your vicinity. It's in reference to that student over there. The student is Ween. So you might say, Manaduminates agasane. Agasane. That bead, it is small for him. You're kind of like, use that ne on the end is referring to it being regarding or in that other person's perspective or experience, that is small for him. Now, if it's more than one thing associated with him, or even associated with them, but that would work up here too. If it's like a small thing for a group of people, they're all trying to get that bead. It's like a whole class collaborative effort. You notice they're all trying to help that student get that bead onto the string. The bead is just too small. So you might say, oh, agasane. It is small for him, or it is small for that group over there, not including you or like someone that you're directly addressing. In the same way, if it's more than one bead and he's struggling, he tried the one bead, he can't get that on, he picks up another one, he tries it, can't get that one on, so there's more than one, beige, niche, etc. You would say agasan one. You add on like this plural onto this, and you have it, they are small for him. These multiple items are small for him. Now, that sounds kind of odd as something that is small, but that's kind of the way it works. You might notice him trying to do a task and he's struggling. You might say, you wouldn't say it is difficult. You would use that it is difficult for him version. I personally, like in my mind, kind of equate it to the idea of observing someone else that you're not directly talking to and saying something to yourself, kind of like, oh, seems like that's hard for him. And we have a lot of words to have to put string together to get that thought across in English, but in Ojibwe, it's just zana gadine. It is difficult for him. So anyway, let's go down to our Gawin statements. It is not, the it is not statements, Gawin form. Right here, again, it is statements, but in Gawin form, it is not statements. And then vowel endings, we're going to use agasa again. It is small if it's just one thing. Here we've got, you have to have your gawin first. Gawin works together with the thing, with the suffix here in red, to make this state of being not happen. So let's say you're looking at something that's actually rather large. You would say, oh, gawin agasa sinun. It is not small. Micha. It is big. Micha. So we've got the gawin form here, gawin agasa sinun, and you just attach that to the end. Now there's no plural form in negatives. If you come down here, you see washime beijing, those things are not small. It's just the same as this one. There's no difference. They are not small. There's no plural form in these. Just, it is not small. Now, that does not apply to someone that you're observing. So ween or winawa. It is not small for him. Gawin agasa sinini. Agasa sinini. Our negation is here in the si or si. And then if it's more than one thing, those things are not small. Let's say those kids have finally gotten some larger beads. They've got like pony beads or something. Now they're significantly larger and they're easier for them to maneuver and be like, oh, going to gasas and anyone. They're not small for them, and they're not small for him. Not anymore. Gayabi, going gayabi, not anymore. Or not yet. Anyway, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but yeah, you just plug in your verb and then attach the part in the red. Now, over here, be form. When, as, or if it is small. Like, you could start out a sentence saying, if it is small, ... You're waiting for more information. You could say something, if it's small, he needs a bigger one, or something like that. He should have a bigger one. You would say, if it is small, you simply add this be form ending, agasag, agasag. I actually think that Now, this is something that I actually have to double check on, and I'll make a note in the class. But the way I would say it is a gasagen, if there's more than one thing, when or if they are small, a gasagen. Now, there is a note here in these paradigms that there isn't a plural in B form unless you're like far in the north. I believe that was like Winnipeg area that was mentioned, but I can't remember. When they said north, I thought they meant Canada, but I'm pretty sure that I have heard the in, so it might look a little like that. Agasa again. But put that on hold. No worries for now. It might just be easier just to say gasag, and drop the plural entirely. Because if there's more than one object, you'll know it because there will be a plural on the object itself. Like when or if they are not small, those beads, even though you don't have the plural on the verb, you'd still have the word bead pluralized. So money dominates un, money dominates sun. And you have more than one bead, and you'll know that the phrase is referring to those. Anyway, I will add a note, and if it is indeed a gasagin in this dialect here, I will update this this paradigm. And then we go to negative. There is no gawing in front of B form negative. You just come in and you put your verb in when or if it is not small, and then you add the suffix. In this case, it's either sinok or sinok. They sound very similar. And then for ween, there is no plural version of this form down here. You'll see it's just not there at all. So if it's more than one thing that is not small for him, you don't have to worry about it. You just use this form. And then so on and so forth. Now, if the verb ends in N, you go down here to N ending verbs. Gosigwan, it is heavy. It is in the state of being heavy. If it's just one thing, it's the root form, like you find in the dictionary, complete sentence on its own. Gosigwan, it is heavy. Again, talk like Yoda, put your item first. So makuk. No, wait, sorry. Hang on. Now it is heavy. I think gotta check on this now because I apologize. I just, when you know what you're talking about and then your brain second guesses you entirely and you're like, hold on, now I need to double check. That's my moment right now. So we're going back in here. The box is red. The red box. Okay, yeah. It is small. The shoes. So yes, okay. So you'd end up talking like Yoda. So it is heavy. The books. Gasa. What is it? The shoe is small. Small shoe. So yes, you say your verb first and then your object. That's the, so I'm gonna make a note in here. Verb, then object. So goes it one makak. The box is heavy, but you're talking kind of like Yoda. It is heavy. The box is kind of how that would go. If you have more than one thing that's heavy, a plural object, makak, makakun, yeah, makakun, the boxes, you would have gosigwan, and you would add your plural onto the end, which is this in red here. So it would be gosigwanun makakun. Pretty sure makak pluralized is makakun. Let me double check this here. Makakong. It might be makakong. Every now and then they're a little bit odd. Makakong, my bad. Okay. See? It's okay. Knowing how to use your resources, that's the important part. All right. And also remembering it's okay to make mistakes as long as you understood. If I said Gozagwanun makakun, they would have understood that I was trying to say makakong, and I would have still conveyed meaning. And that's the important part if you're a new learner, to convey meaning. And no one speaks even their first language perfectly all the time. Now, if we're talking about Ween, that box is heavy for him, you would say Gozagwanine makak. That box, it is heavy for him. Or those boxes, they are heavy for him. Gozagwaniniwan. Or sorry, Gozagwaniniwan. Makak. Makak. Wait, did I? Yeah. That's the locative. Makakun, I was right. See? Okay. Had my moment. Here we go. I apologize, guys. I wonder if I can edit that out. It's been a day, you know? We all have those days. Sorry. Okay. Makak, or here, I'm gonna put it in here. Goes one noon. Makakun. The boxes are heavy. Okay. I need, you know, that's what happens when you start overthinking and second guessing yourself. Like, usually your first thought is the correct thought. That's what I was always told when I was in school. You know, you think you had it right, you erase it on the test and you replace it with your second guessing, and then it turns out you're right the first time, that kind of thing. Anyway, then we go down, same thing, negative form, and endings. Gawin first. Our verb goes ikwan. Now, since it ends with an N, instead of sinun, we get zinun. Same with here, instead of an S for sinini, we get zinini. And again, there's no plural form in the negative, so this is exactly the same for both of these. Going on to our D ending, so like zanagud, it is difficult, zanagud. Or, and that could be something like the homework is difficult, so, or it is difficult homework. Zanagud, the homework is difficult. Zanagud, Giwe, Giwewin? Oh gosh, what do we call it? I can't remember what the word for homework is. Oh my goodness. Giwewinan? That's okay. No key. Call it a no key win. Giwe no key win. The homework. I think. I don't think that's the word for it, but it still means homework, so that'll work. Zanagad Giwewin no Kiwin. Or Washime Beijing, more than one thing is difficult, you'd say Zanagadun. And if it's difficult for him over there, you're not directly addressing him or talking to him. Yeah, addressing him. It would be Zanagad Inne. And then if it's more than one thing that Ween is done, Ween or Weenoa, like him, they, it really doesn't matter how many people, but if you're not directly addressing them, if you are not included in it, and if the person you're directly talking to, if you're directly talking to them, then you use up here. If you're not directly talking to them, but you're talking about them, or you're making a comment about someone or someone's, then you use the for Ween version. Now, if there's more than one thing associated with Ween or Weenoa, you use this part. So like Zanagadini one. Zanagadini one. If it's negative, you get your gawin, your verb. The D falls off and you get sinoon. So like gawin, aqua, sinoon, gawin, zanagas sinoon, instead of zanagad. No plural form in the negatives. It's really quite simple. You just plug your verb in and then attach the part that's in red based on what the ending of the verb is and based on what whether you're addressing someone, you're commenting about something directly to someone, or you're commenting about something associated with someone you're observing. And again, I will check on the like aqua quakin. I know I've heard that in. So yeah, I hope I didn't confuse you too much. I know I made some mistakes in this video. Hope you can forgive me for that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope you enjoy the lesson on VIIs, and there's a lot of companion videos in transparent language. All right, I will see you again later. Bye.